All right, continuing with your 0.4 notes, we're now on 0.4b. All right, so now that you have a general understanding of how the structure of class is going to go, how you find your lessons, and all this kind of stuff, you might notice for this lesson, 0.4, there's some things called required and recommended and level up. So let's kind of talk about what these different categories for assignments are. So required, it's like it sounds like. You have to complete all of these assignments. This is the bare minimum for this class, okay? Next are things called recommended, and these are things that are highly recommended, but if you're behind, these can be skipped to get you caught back up. Now, when we have that lesson time, remember that 30 to 40 minutes, you should be working that entire time, okay? But if for some reason you need a little bit more help, it's taking a little bit longer, that's okay, because we have this here, this recommended activity that can be skipped to make sure you're on task. But say you're going quickly through your required activities, then you move on to your recommended because you still got that class time, you're ahead of pace, so you'll have these recommended activities. And then lastly, you have some that are called level up. These assignments will allow you to further develop skills or learn deeper about a topic. So let's say we're talking about matter, and you've gone through your required activities, you understand matter, you've mastered it, you've gone through your recommended activities, your vocab, and you still have time, then you get to go do the level up activities. You get to learn even deeper about atoms. You get to learn about stuff that maybe you would learn about in 7th or 8th grade about a topic. All right, so go ahead and pause the video and write down what's in red, and then press play to continue. All right, so now what's in a lesson? What's the structure of a lesson? And again, some of this stuff you've already experienced just because of how last week had to go with computers and me being out of town. But I just want to make sure I take the time to explain it to you. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to take notes. You're going to watch an instructional video like you're watching right now, and you're going to fill in your guided notes. You're going to be filling in the blanks with what's written in red. And then you're going to do a practice, or you're going to do a lab, and this allows you to apply your notes. You're going to make sure that you have taken your notes and you're using those notes when you do that practice activity or you're doing that lab. And then the last part of a lesson is going to be a mastery check. And what this mastery check does is check for understanding, because I want to make sure that you understand that mini lesson before you go on to the next lesson, because this information builds on top of each other. I want to make sure you're learning everything that you need to know in 6th grade science so you can be successful. So go ahead and pause the video and write down what's in red in your guided notes, and then press play to continue. All right, so these mastery checks, I know you've seen this because I used it last week on your ed puzzles, but I want to take the time to explain what this means. So a mastery check is something that's at the end of a mini lesson. You'll complete the mastery check. It's a little quiz that has like 2 or 3 questions, maybe sometimes 4 questions, just to make sure to see that you understand the information you just learned. If you pass, then you get to continue to the next lesson. All right. And again, as I get to know you more, I'm going to let you know what score you have to get in order to pass. Each student will be different. Some kids 80%, some kids 70%, but we'll get to that as I get to know you more. All right, so go ahead and pause the video and write down that. And then when you're ready, we'll talk about what happens if you don't pass a mastery check. All right, so if you don't pass a mastery check, that's totally okay. This just means that you need a little bit more help understand the information. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you do not pass the mastery check, then you will complete something called revisions. And you will review your mastery check with me. and then you'll take a different mastery check that reviews that same information. This allows you to work one-on-one with me, or maybe in a small group with a few other students, to help review any information you may not understand. Okay? All this information is probably new to you. All the sixth grade information science is new to you, and it's totally okay if you don't understand the information right away. This is why we're doing the self-paced model, so I can take the time to help you. The most important thing is that you're learning and growing, and you're advocating for yourself if you need help with anything. All right, go ahead and write down what's in red, and then move on to the next activity.